Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Well, well. What have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell. Let's size you up, shall we? See if you'll do.
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
There's some discoloration, but I've seen worse. After all, one can't expect to find prime merchandise on a squalid little ship like this. Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook? Ah, music to my beleaguered stomach. On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor? Oh, but to feel the caress of satin on my scarlet skin once more. A most satisfactory answer indeed. On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The delicate art of cosmetics is what I'm after. The very basics, then. I suppose that's a start. So, 3 questions asked, 3 questions answered. Let's evaluate, shall we? As per your own testimony, you can cook, tailor, and groom. Well, that just about settles it. I offer you my sincerest congratulations. As of now, you are my slave. Of course you accept. Mine wasn't an offer, it was an order. Anyway, you may leave me for a moment. We'll go over your duties once we reach Fort Joy. Now shoo!
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us.
When I want you to attend me, I'll whistle. And
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure?
I spent my life singing for my slaves to bring me my supper. Finer fare than boiled roots and rotten tubers, too.
Insufferable?
Meanwhile, the Magisters feast on honeyed meat behind this very wall. The indignity.
What's your name?
No!
Gods, didn't your mother teach you any manners?
She got eaten by a void woken.
Forget it.
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knees. His beard is a cascade of meticulous plaits, each one braided through with golden medallions. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eyes.
Listen up, boy. You hear that?
how dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague.
His eyes snap open. He looks at you and frowns.
Murder? Ah, that's what they were going on and on about. I wouldn't know anything about it. I kill a man. He knows who done it. His daddy knows who done it. And the mayor knows who done it too.
His eyes flutter shut, and he assumes his position of repose once more.
Whether they catch me is another matter, but I ain't one to hide my accomplishments. The ship, of course.
A wave of sound washes over you. The unintelligible chatter of your shipmates, the groaning of wood from floor to ceiling, the boom, crash and crackle of waves around you, complaints from the sea itself.
And?
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and
Sick as a leper's cat. From the state of it, I'd say she's being cared for by a bunch of beardless babes who never loved anyone but their own mums. But there's more. Listen close.
There has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magister's more concern.
There now, just like that.
Squeak!
Aha!
His eyes snap open as his countenance breaks into an expression of joy. One great paw claps you on the back. The other catches you before you lose your footing.
There. You heard it, didn't you? I knew it. I knew it. Aye, this is good news, boy. Good news.
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
It's the wheel. The wheel. Don't you see, you beautiful idiot? Squeaks whenever the helmsman jerks it clockwise, which means we're heading east. Burn my beard. That means if we've been travelling for... Yes, only 10.34 nautical miles to Fort Joy.
A murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magister's more concern than your appetite.
No indeed, boy. But that ain't my final destination.
The dwarf leans back from the table and strokes his beard, gold medallions jingling merrily. His eyes roll over to you.
That'll be all. Thank you kindly, boy.
Seems to me you should be a little more afraid. There's a killer about, after all.
Till overboiling a bit of cabbage becomes a crime, I shall hold my head steady.
You one of them? A Divine Order loyal? They kill the sorcerer, you know. They'll hide the evidence well enough, but make no mistake.
A no doesn't become over time, you know.
It was one of them. I know
If
it.
you'll be pardoning me, I'll...
Please, please, please! I forgot how to sing. I did.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
The Magister starts, recognition growing on his face as he looks right at you.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
You look just like...
The Magister's face turns white. He makes a move to step backwards, then stops himself as his hand closes on the weapon at his hip.
It is you. Ifan Ben Mesd. I remember you. You were my captain's commander way back in the war.
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
The Magister smiles, a tight little smile of pride. He stands a bit taller. With visible effort, he stops himself from saying whatever it was he was about to say. His face closes over into a cold mask.
On your way, sorcerer. On your way.
Do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe
Lucky
that has the
find.
Magister's more concern than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface of a barrel. They sound like the dry cackling of an old witch.
I'm trying to concentrate.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like.
One of us would kill our own.
She shakes her head.
One by one.
Game for one, I'm afraid. Rolling dice, deciding fates.
You think me mad?
Don't worry, honey. It isn't yours.
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile on her lips.
What are you trying to hear?
Never say never, though.
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
She eyes you quite seriously.
Not the future, no. But I can read the past in flesh. One of the perks of being an elf, you see. I'm quite good at it, too. I could lick your arm and tell you how you spent the night before last. Shall I?
She gives your arm a vigorous stroke of the tongue, efficient like a cat grooming.
You were in a cellar with other sorcerers. As everyone lay sleeping, it seems you and another elf engaged in an action somewhat similar to the one I just performed. Only rather more vigorously.
She pats you on the shoulder consolingly.
There, don't you worry, darling. Your secret's safe with me. I don't lick and tell.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
We just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up.
You think me mad?
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Come on, please, Losa.
I forgot how to sing. I did.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
We just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up.
You think me mad?
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Sing us a song. I know you can. Be good, you scallywags. forgot how to sing. I did.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
No marks, no indications of a struggle.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up.
You think me mad?
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
You are Jill, aren't you?
I ain't saying nothing.
Bloody dwarves. I'll come back to you, and you better be ready to talk here.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Why won't you sing?
I forgot how to sing. I did.
You, Jill, is that right? I've a few questions for you. You are Jill, aren't you?
I ain't saying nothing.
Bloody dwarves. I'll come back to you, and you better be ready to talk here.
Why won't you sing?
That's enough now.
one of them. I know it.
In fact, he seemed quite averse to spending time.
They don't care about us.
Sure about that?
We're like cattle to them.
No!
What's your name?
No!
You can't. Didn't your mother teach you any manners?
She got me to try and avoid one.
The hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way.
And if she tries to run, shoot her kid.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
Like I said, you aren't on the list.
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with it.
Dallas is such a dear lending it to me.
Off to the herd, little sheep. Away you go.
I'll need to write to headquarters right away.
The pale young woman doesn't acknowledge you. She nods to the right without moving her gaze from the ground.
Nothing to see here.
So, anything interesting for me? I'll take that as a no. So, right. Tick-tock.
Scallywags.
It was one of them. I know it. All about it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
Absolutely right. They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Here to register, sir. Good, good. Magister Williams is just about done with the last passenger.
You think me mad?
Mad?
You faring okay so far?
He tugs the collar of his uniform and chuckles.
Sorry you're upset, sir, but we all wear what we wear for a reason. You head on in now. Williams will get you sorted fast.
How dare you
Jill,
classify
is
this
that
slop
right?
as food?
I've a few questions for you.
I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
You are Jill, aren't you?
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty.
I ain't saying
Turnips
nothing.
and water are all
Bloody
I was...
dwarves. I'll come back to you. And you better be ready to talk here.
So, anything interesting for me? I'll take that as a...
Take care of yourself now.
Put a knuckle in it. I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
Like I said, you aren't on the list.
Carrying on.
One of us wouldn't. I didn't do nothing, okay? It was one of them. One of your people. Human.
The hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way.
In fact, he seemed quite averse to spending time with the others. So, anything interesting for me? Right. There's nothing else I can make. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Keep those bolts trained on her, and if she tries to run, shoot to kill.
You seem on edge, officer. What on earth is the matter?
Murder most foul, and I strongly suspect you know all about it.
Junk.
Do you? Well, perhaps you're absolutely right.
Shoot to kill.
You seem on edge, officer.
You are chill, aren't you?
Murder most foul, and I strongly suspect you know all about it.
Do you?
Bloody dwarves. I'll come back to you, and you better be ready to talk here.
Please.
Take care of yourself now.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us wouldn't kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure you and you shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? No. Insufferable? Surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
A no doesn't become a yes over time,
I strongly suspect you know all about it.
How dare you classify this slop as food? I've seen more appetizing things coming out of plague-stricken pigs.
Like I said, you aren't on the list.
Your Majesty, turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything less than a dozen-course dinner, and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well, there has been a murder, Your Majesty. Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
Don't you get thing about Source?
Please, please, please.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a
I
knuckle
said
in
I'm
it?
being good! I said I'm being good! I am!
We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
Hi. Do you like to
One of
play
us
ball?
will kill our own.
We like to play ball.
It's on one by one.
What's your job? You look like a magic maker. Like me, but maybe not so strong.
You think me mad?
Take it easy, Chief. You don't want...
Insufferable, surely.
What are you trying to hear anyway?
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Sing us a song. I know you can.
Locked.
Keep those bolts trained on her, and if she tries to run, shoot to kill.
You seem on edge, officer. What on earth is the matter?
There's nothing else I can make, Your Majesty. Turnips and water are all I was given.
Unacceptable. I've never dined on anything
Well,
else than a dozen course
perhaps
dish,
you're
and I don't intend to do away with the custom.
Well,
seem on edge,
there has
officer.
been a murder,
What
Your
on earth is
Majesty.
the matter?
Maybe that has the Magisters more concerned than your appetite.
And I strongly suspect you
Don't
know
you
all
get
about it.
saucy with me when you clearly don't know the first thing about sauce.
Well, perhaps you're absolutely right.
It was one of them. I know it.
Would you put a knuckle in it? I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us will kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I reassure
Boring.
you to shut up?
You think me mad?
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
The top door's barricaded. No way through for now.
I'll tell you if you keep it quiet long enough for me to listen.
Keep those bolts trained on her, and if she tries to run, shoot to kill.
You seem on edge, officer. What on earth is the matter?
Murder most foul. And I strongly suspect you know all about it.
Do you? Well, perhaps you're absolutely right.
I'm trying to concentrate.
They don't care about us. We're like cattle to them.
I'll give you that knuckle if you keep carrying on.
One of us will kill our own.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters. They keep their crossbow trained upon her as she's being interrogated by an officer.
So you admit it then? You murdered that poor fella?
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
It means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around for its finale, though, because
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts Source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
What's happened?
What happened? Must have been the turnips. Water? Wine, for goodness sake!
The lizard's eyes close as he slips into unconsciousness.
No, not the final dark. Not yet.
Her hand lies limp in yours. She's too weak to stand.
The dice roll darkly. They're rolling for me.
The dwarf lies in a heap on the floor, his great beard twisted and tangled around him. He is stock still. You can't see if he's living or dead. You hear a faint thud, thud, thud. He's alive, but only just. In a heap on the floor. She's breathing normally, but her eyes are wide open, like those of a corpse. Dark, greyish-black clouds swirl through them.
No.
Magister lies on the floor, unconscious and bleeding from a dire-looking wound. The hound paws desperately at its snout. It winces as it draws blood from its wet black nose and continues scratching. The dog notices you for the first time and snarls, the hairs on its back prickling as it lowers itself into a lunge.
You sorcerer!
It sneezes suddenly and paws at its nose once more.
Can't smell. Can't breathe. Too much sauce. Too much. Too much. Please, make it stop.
The hound sees you reach for your weapon and growls, baring sharp, white teeth.
Long before this thing snaps into splinters. Damn. That doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards. Guards, damn it. Need to get off this wreck. Quick.
Gods. By divine grace, who was that howling?
He eyes the collar circling your neck and reaches a hand towards his blade.
Another sorcerer! Even if I knew how to rip that thing off, I wouldn't. Some crazy banshee comes screaming through, and now we got void bugs swarming up top. Saw it coming, I did. Sorcerer mutiny. Curdled my blood when she appeared. Ship shook like a typhoon had struck, and then she was gone again. Look around. You see how that story ends? Nothing but Source can do this. Then the mutiny ends here.
God! Something's pounding on the hull!
Through the door and are suddenly face to face with an undead. His skull is bizarrely angular and a glorious jewel sits in the middle of his forehead. The skeleton is quickly leafing through a volume of Cranley Hubert's famous encyclopedia, muttering to himself.
No, no, no! What damn fools record knowledge on a pulped tree? It catches fire, it turns into must when wet, it cannot even resist acid! No wonder they're so bloody ignorant.
The skeleton looks up and notices you for the first time.
Oh, it's you. Shouldn't you be running and screaming or some such?
The skeleton groans and looks back to his book, frantically flipping from page to page.
Yes, indeed. It's the look of someone that wants to read the bloody book he's holding. Now, if you're really quite finished, I believe you have lifeboats to flee to. Please, I was no more an elf than you are those rags you're wearing. I had a mask, rather ingeniously designed, which allowed me to take that primitive form. A mask that was stolen by that damned witch after her little scene. Still, she'll drown with the rest of these fools, and I will simply pluck my mask from her cold, dead hands. Indeed, just as sensible as getting off a sinking ship and leaving a fellow to his business. I would say good day, but it seems quite likely that you're about to die a rather terrible death, so...
The skeleton shrugs casually and returns to his book. The marking on the door was painted recently, judging from its pungent scent. You recognize the symbol immediately for what it is, a warning of death fog within. You press your palm against the door to open it. The wood feels neither cold nor warm, but simply grey. The color drains from your hand, and you are left numb. It doesn't budge. The door groans open, but an ashen shadow clouds your mind.
I'll need to find another way. The hatch is blocked. I'll need to find another way.
There's still a chance. Get yourself up the ladder! There's a... Wait! Void Woken!
Bugs won't sink the ship on my watch.
I thought Void Woken was supposed to be scary. Let the games begin.
They who are about to triumph.
Away! The sea's hungry. We don't have much time. We make it.
tries to speak, but can only gape as she clutches her neck, trying to stem the bleeding of a gushing wound. With jagged movements, she raises her clenched fist and holds out a length of cloth, soaked with some kind of strong-smelling tincture. Blood quickly soaks through the cloth. Magister Siwan's mouth opens and closes, her eyes wide in terror. It's working. The pressure is stemming the flow of blood. Siwan clutches your arm, her eyes locked with yours. Something within the ship snaps. The floorboards shudder. Siwan struggles to her feet, clinging to you tightly. The ship lets out a deep groan, then cracks.
God. It's ripping the ship apart.
I have plans for you, child. Rise.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed dead. Yours faithfully into eternity, High Judge Oriven.
So the Order's right about one thing. We attract Voidwoken. Am I the lone survivor? Only one way to find out.